Well, hello everyone. Thank you again so very much for sitting back down and joining me today. It's so very nice to meet you. If I have not already met you in some way, shape, or form, my name is Ryan. Today's video, we are going to be covering 1984's She, put out by Kino Lorber Studio Classics. I got this in a couple of sales ago, and I had to make a video talking about this film. This film, I adore it. I absolutely adore that film. Spoiler alert, we're gonna get that all out of the way. This is an amazing, amazing, amazing movie. So, what do we really have going on in She? Basic synopsis that we can give is that we have a trio of travelers in this post-apocalyptic landscape who have, you have this individual, Tom, portrayed by David Goss, whose sister is kidnapped by a warrior tribe called the Norks. Yes, the Norks. And basically the whole movie is trying to get her back, but that is going to have them entangled in this, really the world and this crazy landscape and all of these crazy tribes and individuals, because they become entangled with this particular tribe of people that worship this goddess called She, who is portrayed by Sandal Bergman. And in this particular commune, this group of people, men are used for ritual and sex, and they worship the goddess only known as She. And there's a bit of a prophecy and a couple of other things that I don't want to get too much into, but She accompanies Tom and his friend Dick, portrayed by Harrison Muller, on the quest to reclaim his sister, rescue Tom's sister from the Norks. That's the best kind of synopsis that I can give of this film. Now, this film is based off H. Rider Haggard's 1887 novel of the same name. It had a bit of a longer name. And this is not the first time that She was adapted into a feature film. And this is sort of a remake of sorts of the 1965 Hammer production starring Ursula Andress and Peter Cushing. And that one is going to be much more in line with the original source material, as this one is not. If there's one word that I can use to describe She, this version of She, written and directed by Avi Nesher, if there's one thing that I can use to describe it, it is anachronism. There are anachronisms everywhere in this film, and the amount of anachronisms that are used showcases the goofy, over-the-top, completely bonkers nature of this film and why I love it so much. This film is nothing but pure fun. So in a lot of ways, I've kind of talked about in some movies before, well, not just me, other people have before, especially with like a lot of modern action-y movies, like Guns Akimbo was a recent example of more like video game, online with a video game. She very much feels like almost like an RPG in a way, because you're literally you've got, you're going from one world to another world to another world to another world, encountering completely different NPCs, maybe some like boss battles and that sort of thing. And that's really what this feels like. This feels like a weird Dungeons and Dragons game that is viewed for us. And it's so weird and so fun. So first off, the post-apocalyptic landscape, it's a little Mad Maxy to a degree, but that's really only depending on where they are. So the Norks, the big antagonists, the villains of this film, are a little bit of a cross between Mad Max and the Warriors. So it's really when you're looking at the Norks that you really kind of get this feeling that it is that it's a future. Besides the little opening that we have, that it is the future, because a lot of it seems almost a little bit like Shannara. If you're familiar with Shannara at all, where Shannara is actually set in the future. It is a post-apocalyptic future where technology has crumbled and they've resorted to magic and sorcery. I believe in the very first book, The Sword of Shannara, it's been many, many, many years since I've read The Sword of Shannara. And that one, I believe it's like halfway through, they find a car. They stumble across a car. And this feels very much like that. But as I said before, it's all kind of depending on where they are. And what I really love about this, I've talked about it before in Killer Clowns from Outer Space. It's pure creative anarchy. It is making something fun for the sake of making something fun, for making something entertaining. And all of the hats that I own are off to Avi Nesher for making this film, because it is so much fun. I mean, you're either with this film or you're not, because if you're not with this film, then they have lost you in 10 minutes, in 15 minutes. But they really don't kind of hold back. They're sort of like, if you're with us, then keep going. Come with us for this, because there is some very bizarre things about this film, and all these different tribes and different worlds that we're going into, really just to reach the end of the game, just to reach the finish line. Excuse me. And I mean, you have these almost like Roman-esque people who turn into werewolves. You have this weird, almost mad scientist sort of individual who gasses people in this forest to perform experiments on them as he wears a powdered wig and lipstick, and his accomplice is just this big burly beefcake of a man who's wearing a pink tutu. And then you have to go to the village of the Norks, or the land of the Norks. They have to cross a bridge. And if you thought that the Billy Goat's Gruff was the best story or the best portrayal of crossing a bridge and having to overcome something to get there, then you have not seen Xenon, who he's like the bridge guard, and he's pretty much all of the things that you either really loved or were incredibly annoyed by. The character of Uncle Joey from Full House, all of the impressions, that is Xenon. It makes no sense. The majority of the film does not make a whole lot of sense. Plot is not very important, but there is something so fun to be said about these kinds of movies. To me, if you're not into this sort of goofy, whacked out portrayal of films, then you're definitely not going to be on board for this. But I think that if you just like having fun with movies, and if you like the sort of movies that I kind of buy and talk about, and you have not seen She, like I had not, and this was not on your radar, then by all means, you have to check this movie out. So this was more of a short review in a way, but a sort of discussion about it. But really, it's a PSA. It is a PSA to watch this film. Pick it up on the next Kino sale. You will not at all be disappointed that you did. So that's all that we're going to have to talk about today, guys. I really hope that you enjoyed that. Thank you so much for watching it today. If you like this video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button for more additional content. All the links to my social media and contact information are found in the description box down below. If you have seen She, please leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear your opinions about it. But that's all that I've got for you today, everyone. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I also hope that you enjoy the rest of your day.